2023 was a chaotic black hole with a million bad things we could spend all day doom scrolling over, but instead of doing that, I'm gonna make your year just a little bit better by sharing the top 50 best songs of 2023, my version. Hey neighbor, glad you're here. Pull out your handy-dandy notebooks so I can recommend a fresh batch of kick-ass songs with a focus on alternative rock, indie, and synth pop, with a few cuts from the metal and hip-hop world sprinkled in between. Do I look like a Baskin-Robbins? I don't have 32 flavors. I have 50. But I guarantee you haven't seen a list like mine, and I promise it's not just another shuffled version of every critic's list ever. These are just my favorite songs, so drop a like and let's get started. Dury is a brother-sister duo that blew up during the pandemic. Mallrat is my favorite song on their debut album, Suburban Legend. It's nostalgia done right. It gets very specific in the way that he describes the air as smelling like hair dye and Cinnabon. It's a killer track with a great hook, great backing vocals, really strong guitars, and I can't recommend them enough. This is one of the smoothest, coolest tracks you'll hear this year. My only complaint is that it's the shortest song on the entire top 50. Australian mastermind Genesis Iwosu blessed us with the lead single Leaving the Light from his second album, Struggler, and while I have very mixed feelings on the album, this song perpetuates nothing but pure confidence and skill. Holding Absence continue to level up and win me over. Her Wings is a fascinating track. It's very melodic, but also very post-hardcore and heavy, and it really checks off every box imaginable. The hard-rocking Hives returned in 2023 with Bogus Operandi, a smash of a comeback tune. This has everything you could want from the Hives. The vocals, the layering, the mix of this song is delicious, and I dare you to think that not every band member is popping the F off.
Scroll the finance page by thumb, take us for suckers, we suck it up.
Emily Haynes putting out this level of unparalleled lyricism, mysticism, the overall aura that she gives to this song. The entire band deserves credit because what a journey Suckers is. But don't sleep on this deep cut because Emily is still putting out some of her best work ever. Pierce the Veil didn't put out a new album for 7 years, but the first track, Death of an Executioner, proves that the wait was absolutely worthwhile.
At the cross and the gods relay, there's no hands left to take, so grab me by the teeth.
Post-punk gone sexual? Like this was a YouTube title from 2017? That's maybe the best way that I can summarize Model Actress, and the rest you're just gonna have to discover for yourself. After losing iconic drummer Taylor Hawkins, the path forward looked uncertain for Foo Fighters, but tracks off of their new album like Show Me How really remind me of how resilient Dave Grohl and everyone around him can truly be, and his daughter appearing on this track is just the icing on the cake.
So that sounds sadistic. One more for the reaper. It's been hard on my tail, but I've been.
Unintentionally back-to-back, but two devastating losses from music Taylor Hawkins and Ryan Sue from the Australian metalcore band Polaris. Inhumane came out just before Ryan passed away, and this phenomenal track really takes on a variety of influences, namely Linkin Park springing to mind, but also putting their own spin on it in just such a hard-hitting, heavy manner. The Best Songs of 2023 is sponsored by the Bad Habit Breakers over at Fume. Quitting something cold turkey is so tough. That's why Fume designed their all-natural device to help take the bad out of bad habits to help you stay on track. Fume isn't a drastic, uncomfortable change. It's an innovative, award-winning flavored air device that lets you breathe an assortment of tasty flavors instead of harmful chemicals. I had no idea what to expect when trying Fume, but I ended up really digging the experience and the flavors, with my favorite being the classic orange vanilla. I love the fidget-friendly nature of Fume because I am absolutely an ADHD fidgeter, and your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, keeping your fingers busy, which helps you de-stress while breaking the habit. I got the new Solano model with the smooth onyx mouthpiece and the walnut barrel, and it's a really sleek design. Stopping a habit is something we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and fun. Start breaking destructive habits and check them out at tryfume.com/ARTV or scan the QR code and use my code ARTV to get 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com/ARTV and use code ARTV to get your discount today. Mags may have had a couple of viral hits, but he's still extremely underrated. This indie rock musician put out his new record, Destroyer, and this track, Sins, is possibly his heaviest to date. It seems like Everything are always putting out new music, but Cold Reactor, much like many of their other songs, is yet another reminder of how catchy, disciplined, but also effervescent this band can truly be. I wasn't quite sure if Jessie Ware's music was gonna be for me after checking out What's Your Pleasure, but that album slowly grew on me, and by the time I was introduced to Begin Again, it was the perfect amalgamation of all of her talents, both vocally with that lush, organic instrumentation, a disco edge. This song is perfection.
Inside the frame, forget everything, swing inside a dream.
I love when artists showcase the darker side of dreaming, and this adventurous tune is both dark and oddly comforting in the way that it quite literally swings like a pendulum. English always was my best subject in school, so it's no surprise that I'm drawn to this band from the UK. English Teacher, one of my favorite discoveries of the year. I've put their song Nearly Daffodils on the list because I love the dark and light dichotomy. It feels very persistent, like you're on the edge of getting out of this winter and running through a meadow in spring, but there's darkness implying that maybe not everyone gets there.
Before I make a terrible mistake and make you rethink everything that you thought was good in me. You're better than the things I did, so why did I do them anyway?
Yeah, Jeff, this is the one. This is the one that got me hook, line, and sinker, like back to your music. I've been a bad boy. I've been slacking off on keeping up, but Will You Still You? Yes, that's the correct title, is the opening song from Hell Mode, and the ride that this takes you on is unlike anything else. It's so satisfying and so explosive. Didn't have the Code Orange Kids teaming up with William Patrick Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins on my 2023 bingo card, but now that I'm seeing that space, I am so glad that they marked it off.
Don't we silos like the concrete handles Gloria?
Tennis is an indie pop duo that I've been listening to since the Alt Nation days back in like 2012 with Origins, and I rediscovered them this year, and Glorietta might be their golden hour, their finest track to date, because gun to my head, if I had to say what's the best tennis song, It's Glorietta. It's almost surprising how much heart and emotion you feel in this song because it wasn't exactly assembled in the most natural way, but the final outcome is undeniable. This song is very emotional, it's easy to play in really any setting, and I think it's up there with some of the best that we've gotten since the Beatles broke up. We're gonna need a bigger bridge for Deeper. The Chicago post-punk band once again showed new colors and new life. Build a Bridge is incredibly catchy, but there's an underlying suspicion to it, a sense of mystery that never goes away. My head was spinning like a scene out of The Exorcist after listening to Local's Girls Like Us for the first time on stream. What the fuck? Never in my life have I heard anything like this. It's the storytelling, it's the musicianship, it's the craft, it's the ingenuity. Everything about this song really screams out both fun and ferocious. Abrasive thunderstorm riffs lift Vessel's voice over the noise and into oblivion, in a nearly 7-minute journey that starts off by kicking down the door but eventually lets the light in for a change of pace that really just floored me. Hosier is so sharp, so observant, and the poignancy in rhythm, just bounding out of DeSelby Part 2, is almost unrealistic. It's that moving. Julian Baker songs in Boy Genius are like the secret menu item at a restaurant that you didn't know that you needed to order, but it's always the best thing and most people don't know about it or else don't seem to.
So you are tired of feeling like kids. So go back to your dad.
So You Were Tired is one of the most emotional, intense pieces of music that I consumed in 2023. It's such a sad, devastating song because if you know what Sufjan has been through, both the GBS and also his partner passing away, then you know how much deeper this song goes.
But I know what they say when I walk in the light. There's no joy in my life, there's no joy when I'm right. I know what they say when I walk in the light. There's no joy.
With as sad as this band can get, Pendulum is a surprisingly uplifting moment that has a lot of hope buried within the sadness. The somber guitar tone does a great job leading into an understated hook before eventually paying off with some huge vocals with a lot of emotion from Dylan Slocum. Lost is a minefield of emotions just waiting to be stepped on, whether it's the nostalgia when you hear the turntable scratches or the extremely powerful, emotive voice of Chester Bennington. This has been sitting like a genie in a bottle for decades, and I'm so glad that it saw the light of day. Easily one of the best offerings from the shoegazing world was Your Face by Wisp, a song that does have some virality to it, but it's genuinely great. The layering makes it feel both modern and super 90s washed out grunge meets shoegaze.
I love it, I'll live my own days. Take a mask off, you know.
Geese had me feeling some type of way after my first encounter with Mysterious Love. It hooked me enough to the point where I wanted to hear the album, and this ended up being one of my most played songs of the entire year. It is pure chaos, but I love the blend. Shout out to Another Sky and their fantastic song Burn the Way. I love the progressive tendencies here. It's a song that has a lot of fire and a lot to say about forgiveness or the lack thereof.
Dreams I
This time I won't be complacent. The dreams I gave up and wasted. Blink-182, you're tearing my heart out. The love that you're feeling for each other is definitely translating to tape, with Anthem Part 3 being the strongest moment of their new album and a perfect rounding out of a trilogy.
Once your feet hit that gravel, just run from the guns, point and shoot. We used to play upon the playground, running from the guns. Who thought hardest part would be for me to stand down?
McKinley Dixon effortlessly bounces from spitting bars to unlocking a very soulful hook in a song Run, Run, Run that highlights a lot of injustices that people of color face and the fact that we take so many small things like just feeling safe for granted.
Tell me what you need, what's right, whatever is just enough, even for the truth, the start.
It was a slow dive summer. I don't know what else to tell you. I have no excuses. This was the song that got me to check out their back catalog. I'd been putting it off, and Kisses is simply sublime. It is music at its finest, at its most pure. You can almost feel the hate radiating from Days Move Slow, which makes sense because this was my song of the summer. Bully made something so visceral, catchy, and immediate. This is a song that latches on and doesn't let go. It has that good of a pace. Don't ever tell me that Josh Homme can't get vicious with his lyrics, because Paper Machete quite literally cuts somebody in half. I feel like this is the big sister to their song Little Sister, with the solo being played in a similar way, so that being my introduction to the band, it's great to see things come full circle.
Because you can't get younger, you can't get older. It's the fall of Paul, but he's not going under.
The urgency of the lead riff alone is enough to make me put The Fall of Paul on this list. Shame started off as just another post-punk band, but they continue to improve in ways that I just wouldn't have seen coming.
I don't trust any of these bitches I'm with in the back of the taxi, sniffing cocaine. Drunk calls, drunk texts, drunk tears, drunk sex.
Telling a coherent story from start to finish is a lost art in pop music, but thankfully Ray and 070 Shake did not get the message because they delivered something so exquisite with escapism. It's anthemic, catchy, sleazy, confessional, but it does it all with the perfect balance of production that echoes back to 2000s pop, a little bit of R&B, but also an outro that totally subverts everything you thought would have been coming. The crew and movements have outdone themselves again. Fail You is a terrifying thought. It's the idea of letting down your significant other, having these fears, keeping you up at night that you're not gonna be good enough. And unfortunately, my first year married over here, that wasn't a fear of mine at all. It feels really relatable in a way that doesn't feel like you're being pandered to or talked down to. Plus, that riff is something that every band in that scene should strive for. Night Verses are wizards. This is an instrumental band that are mind-blowing to me. I can't fathom how talented every musician in this trio is. Karma Wheel makes me feel like I'm standing too close to a volcano for comfort, but I can't look away because I need to see the eruption. I was on my honeymoon in St. Lucia when Gamma Rays dropped, and I was so excited to give it a listen because I could feel those tropical vibes coming from the teasers they put out. It just so happened that we were there, sitting poolside, listening for the first time, and this song has not left my rotation. It's incredible to see how tempos continue to evolve without really shedding their core sound. Before I reveal the top 10, if you could take a split second to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, it helps me out a ton, pushes the video in the algorithm, and also, if you want to support the channel even further, click the join button below to become a member today, and you'll get access to a lot of stuff that I'm sure some of you don't care about, some of you do, but one thing you might is there's a bonus video going out with this one where I reveal 50 more of my favorite songs of the year. So check that out, hit join below, and let's get to the top 10.
Just hurt inside.
Let me just say that my top 10 is insanely competitive, but at number 10, People Are Good by Depeche Mode. I, like Martin Gore and Dave Gahan, also seem to struggle with nihilism. The way the tantalizing cold-shouldered synths reverberate off the mountaintops of this track is incredible, and it proves that Depeche Mode are still somehow at the top of their game.
You can't catch me now. I'm higher than the hopes that you brought down.
The range of talent Olivia Rodrigo possesses is only continuing to bloom, as proven by Can't Catch Me Now. Oddly, I did not pick a track off of Guts. I went with her Hunger Games soundtrack contribution, as this is, I think, her best songwriting yet. When your favorite band of all time finally returns to a form that you haven't heard the likes of in probably 20 years, you stand at attention and say, "Thank you, Green Day, where has this been?" Every member pulls their weight and then some, and Trey Cole just really laying down the thunderous drums to close out the track is phenomenal. Ring of Past has me levitating. Men I Trust, how do you put out this many songs of this caliber? The thumping groovy bass line, the hazy vocals that are trademarks for them, but also something new here is the reverberating, all-encompassing synth that sounds like something sampled from a 70s sci-fi film. This song has Evil Dead energy, and it makes sense that Closure in Moscow returned this year, the same year that the Evil Dead franchise returned. Coincidence? I think not. What else can you call it but a Molotov cocktail of funk, alternative rock, and metal? Kakistocracy is 7 minutes in heaven with one of the most promising bands of tomorrow, Marusha. Everything they released this year is gold, but Kakistocracy takes the cake. I appreciate every single one of my viewers that sends stuff into my live streams that I do every Sunday at 7 p.m. Always be plugging. Come out, because seriously, you guys do have more of an influence than you think. My jaw was on the floor in another room when Fall Out Boy returned with Love from the Other Side. This feels like a race to the edge of madness, with a ton of organic instrumentation on top, with Neil Avron once again teaming to produce for Fall Out Boy. We're so lucky to have Caroline Polachek, one of the most prolific artists of our time, not just for pop, but for avant-garde pop, art pop, alternative music, and Blood and Butter is proof that she can really take just about anything and make it sound silky smooth. Fun little secret, I'm not really a fan of the bagpipes, but there's bagpipes on this song, and I love it, and I think that says everything. What an electrifying moment that definitely feels related to a song like Pool from After Laughter with the kind of chiming intro. The theremin really helps sell the darker underlying tone of the song and the simmering rage that Hayley Williams practically boils over with by the time the chorus hits.
How far are you willing to reach?
dear lord, the pummeling nature of this track is like getting lashed with a cat of nine tails. How far are you willing to reach? 30 Under 13 presented us with that question as we were introduced to a new band that are also extremely familiar because Better Lovers is Dillinger Escape Plan's Greg Puciato plus members of Every Time I Die. I'm not the type of person that normally falls into a pit of rage when a song comes on, but 30 Under 13 just sets a fire in my soul. You can see it in my eyes, and I lose myself and become feral. Not Will, just feral. We've reached the end of the list. Thank you guys for another year. It wasn't a great one for me personally, but I have high hopes for 2024, and I hope to see you guys along the way. And I also have an embarrassing confessional shout out because somehow I forgot to include Wild by the rock band Spoon on my top 50 songs last year. It should have been in the top 5, and I really hope that you'll check it out if you haven't already. Why not tap subscribe if you're enjoying my videos? It's free, and 2 for the price of 1. Heck, why not slap that like button too? And my other year-end videos, if you're curious about those, they're still cooking, but you can catch up on all of my year-end lists, past, present, and future, right above my head, and I'll see you next time.